I'm Amy with a Y.
And I'm Amy with an I.
And we're just two ladies watching Tiger King on Netflix. Because the whole country is doing it, and we had to get in on it too so that we can comment about it.
I wanted to understand the memes. That was really solely my purpose of getting into it, as I saw memes. I thought they were funny, but I was like, I bet they're even funnier if I understand the context.
I got into it because my brother sent me a Twitter message, which I don't know why he keeps doing that, because I'm like never on Twitter. Just text me a normal text. But he sent me a message on Twitter asking if I'd seen it, and I'm like, no, I haven't even heard of it. And he's like, it's all the rage. Everyone's watching it. You got to watch it. So I went and looked at it, and then I'm like, oh, I know that Joe Exotic guy. I've seen him on other shit, because I remember when he ran for president against Trump. And I saw it.
Oh, I remember. I saw
on the
that
news
ad.
or something. Yeah, it was fantastic. So I'm like,
I saw
I
that
better watch
exact
this
commercial
shit
they
show.
show on the Colbert Report. Like, I saw that. 'Cause
Yes.
I watched the Colbert Report constantly during the election. Constantly.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the one I saw too. It's funny because my brother and I, when we see Joe Exotic, he reminds us of two particular uncles that we have. That if the two of them ever had a baby, that would be Joe Exotic. Like, he's this perfect combo of some of our relatives, which is why it's so hilarious. But yeah,
I saw this one today. I actually sent it to my brother, who he did watch the show. Oh, I sent it to my brother exclusively. Sorry, I'm in two different texts with my brother.
oh no, I get it. I'm in like 5 different text strings right now with different people. So
It's if Lieutenant Dangle and Joe Dirt had a son. Which I think is...
that's so perfect. The Joe Dirt thing is just
That's two
spot
on the nose.
on with the mullet and oh god.
But the Lieutenant Dangle... So...
Yeah.
So we wanted
So
to talk about Tiger King.
because
All of
everybody's
it.
talking
Like the
about it.
pros and the cons. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Just
a good one.
Just talk dirt about Tiger King, because clearly everybody in the country has seen it by now. Most people, anyway. I would assume most people listening to this have
Well,
seen
my
it.
sister was like, I've only seen the first episode. Don't ruin it for me. And I was like, I'm not going to, obviously.
Yeah.
But even if I sat there and told you everything that happened
yeah.
in it, you still
You'd
need
still
to
wanna
watch
watch
it
it.
because
Yeah.
it is insane.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
It is
my
completely
husband
insane.
was listening to or I watched it before he did, and then he's like, everybody's talking about Tiger King, I'm gonna watch it. So he was watching it, and he was on like episode 2 going, wait, what? Wait, is that guy's not gay? Wait, he's married to 2 and I would just walk in and go, yes, and she's gonna kill her husband and feed him to the tigers.
Just wait for it.
Just wait, it's gonna be great. And then he kept asking me more questions, and I'm like, just wait, you'll get to it in the next episode. It's so
we were
good.
discussing it today. And so these are, it's focused primarily on 3 people, mostly on Joe Exotic,
Yes.
but on also Carol Baskin and Doc Antle. I think that's how you say his name.
I think so too.
Those
if
are
it's
the
not,
3
that's how you say it now.
main players in this show. And they are all wretched humans.
Yeah,
And
they're
this
all just
documentary
total
could
dirtbags.
have eviscerated them, but it was done in... This is a very well-made documentary. I watch a lot of documentaries, but this documentary was done so well that there is not a bias in the documentary. They just filmed these people as is and let you make up your own opinions about it. Like, they could have made fun of Joe Exotic for being gay and polygamist. They didn't. They could have made fun of Carol for being a freaking nutbag. They didn't. You know, Doc Angle is
straight up running a cult.
He's straight up running a cult, but they didn't.
No.
There was no mockery of anybody. It was just, here's the story we have. It's crazy. There you go.
Yeah, it was. I felt that way too. Like it's.
I thought it was very hands off. Just here's the story we were given. There you go.
Well, I mean, I felt like for sure they had a storyline to trace, and they shot it, you know, fairly intentionally with.
Well, most of it was shot about 5 years ago, actually.
But yeah, this wasn't like a recent thing, so you got a lot of stuff.
Only things that were recent are the phone calls from
years.
prison and the court proceeding stuff.
Oh God, it's just, and I can't, like, it's one of those things that it's just, when people ask why should I watch it, like, it's just a guilty pleasure. There is no reason you need to watch this other than it's fascinating, and it will give you 7 hours worth of not thinking about being quarantined. And it's a great social touch point now, cultural thing where everybody's seen it and now we can all talk about it. And actually, Nathan,
I appreciate it. I appreciate how well done it was. That was from me from a standpoint of a documentary person. Like, I watch documentaries. It is well made. It is, from a documentary standpoint, that is a well made documentary.
Yeah, and I think this might be the first thing I've seen on, we should mention it's on Netflix in case you haven't figured that out. I guess I'm just assuming everybody listening to this has already seen it. So if you haven't, go watch that first and then come back and listen to this.
You'll understand our memes better.
Yeah, it'll make more sense. But what I loved about it is that by episode, like, I didn't look ahead to see how many episodes there were, which I usually do because I want to know what I'm getting into. By episode 2, the end of it, I was like, oh shit, this is the climax of the show. There must just be like 1 or 2 episodes left.
Yeah.
And I checked 7. I'm like, how can it get?
Well, and I was thinking that after the end of the first episode, I'm like, where can they go from here? Like,
I know, like, this must be the big story. And then, but you're like, wait a minute.
No.
How do they get through 7 more episodes?
No. There's just
it just keeps going.
So I saw this thing today. This is a spoiler. If you haven't watched it, seriously, spoiler. So I'll wait. 5, 4, 3. Okay. So the building that burned down with the crocodiles in it. I read this meme today, which is not a source of fact, obviously, but it said that something is really crazy. A story is very crazy when no one mentions the fact that the crocodiles that were killed in the fire belonged to Michael Jackson.
What?
I don't know if that's true, but if it is, can you imagine? So people, can you imagine how insane a story is if that's true and Michael Jackson's crocodiles were killed by a suspected arson in a zoo and that's not even mentioned? Nobody even said anything.
Even if that isn't true, the fact that the fire isn't even what anybody's talking
Glossed
about, like,
right
that's
over.
not,
Nobody even said anything about it.
That was a huge event, but like,
it's a
it doesn't
suspected
matter.
arson. He probably burned it down. Nobody cares. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Crocodiles were
Crocodiles
in there.
died.
Maybe they were
They
Michael
suck.
Jackson's. Maybe they weren't.
Yeah.
So
matter.
anyway, here's my third husband. Isn't he cute?
Maybe we should do kind of like a basic recap, and that way, if people haven't seen it, they can just listen to our, and they're not going to. They can just listen to us tell them what's happening.
I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah, I don't. Let me hold on. I need to text my husband right now to remind him to put something into the oven.
Okay.
So let's see. I'm just gonna keep this. Oh, let's see. Put the thing in the oven. This is why women shouldn't podcast. Put the thing in the oven now. Hopefully he'll know what that means. Okay, so yeah, it's basically, you've got this cast of characters with Joe Exotic being in the middle. And Joe Exotic is a guy who has run
freaking delightful person, honestly.
Zoo? I mean, I don't even want to call it a zoo. It's a place with tigers.
Charismatic
as fuck.
He
he's
wears
also
shirts
horrible.
that look like Lisa Frank Trapper Keepers, like they're shiny leopard print, and he wears leather boots, and he walks with a cane sometimes, not always. Yeah. And he shoots a gun randomly, like, just
of course. Oh, he has no sense of safety or common sense.
He's just none. He's wild. He's like Yosemite Sam.
Yeah,
kind of.
He is who he is, and he's fine with it. Like, he's not trying to be anybody that he's not. Well,
and that's the thing is, if he had done all the things that they accused him of, he would brag about it because he doesn't keep any secrets at all. Like, if he
can't keep his mouth shut.
He's in jail for a murder to hire thing of this lady. If he had done that, he would have gone down himself and been like, "I'm gonna shoot you, bitch." Like, he wouldn't.
He's kind of the person that the story revolves around the most. You could call him like great. The main character.
Yeah, but I want to join his cult.
Yeah, you find out at the beginning that he's in jail now, so then they take you back to like 5 years ago when they started recording all of this. Yeah. And he was running this kind of
Tiger
like a
rescue.
zoo
But
tiger.
it's not really tiger rescue
He
because they're
wasn't,
breeding
no.
them on
It wasn't a
site.
rescue. Yeah, he didn't even call it a rescue. It was
No,
just
it's
like a zoo. He called
I
it a
guess.
zoo. Something like that. But basically, he just had a shitload of tigers and he would breed them so that he could get baby tigers, because when you have the baby tigers, then you can charge people to come in and pet the baby tigers, which I got to say is kind of genius. I'm not
I
advocating
would
for tiger
I would
breeding,
do that because they're
but
adorable, but I get it.
but
It's
I
wrong.
yeah, I get why it's wrong, but I also get why the business side of Exotic Joe was like, or Joe Exotic was like, I need more of these tiger cubs because people are paying me a fuck ton of money to basically come and have cuddle parties with the cubs. Got to have more cubs because they grow up really quickly. So that was kind of his main.
Well, they have like what is it, like a 6-month window?
Yeah,
And
that
they
they're
literally
useful.
they show a baby being born, and they literally the second the baby comes out of the mother, they pull it away with a stick, with
Which
like
is
a hook.
horrible.
It's
Yeah.
awful. They pull that baby immediately away from its mother.
Yep.
She was giving birth to another one as they pulled one baby away, which was just
Yeah. I think
was
that was the
heartbreaking.
most abusive thing they showed in the
Yeah,
entire
that was horrible.
series. A lot of people have asked, does it show a ton of animal abuse? And it's
no.
not,
Actually,
it's-
everybody
it
loves
doesn't.
those animals. Like everybody they show,
Yes.
even the awful, terrible people, they're all loving on those animals. They
Yeah.
genuinely care about them.
And they all think they're doing the right thing. Like none of them
Yeah.
think they're mistreating the animals. And
No.
it's one of those things where
It's funny because they have him as this guy.
Yeah.
He's the charismatic Tiger King. And then his mortal enemy is the big cat rescue lady in Florida, Carol Baskin. They are literally doing the same things.
oh yeah, exactly.
Basically.
But she's calling hers a rescue and he is
Right.
not, because he doesn't make shit up
But
about who he is. He's
For
doing
a
what he's
long,
doing.
long time, she was breeding cats too. Like, that's where she
Yeah.
started. They were
Yeah.
doing the exact same things. They were taking pictures with the animals. They were,
Mm-hmm.
going for money in social media. Like, they're doing, like, it's almost parallel. They're
Yeah.
doing the exact same things. But there is a mortal feud between the two of them. Like, they.
And it's dirty. I mean, this feud
well,
is
he is a. I
He-
think
he's the
She's a
worst.
sociopath.
oh yeah,
But
I
he
think
is
she's
just.
he
I think
doesn't
she's
know
straight up.
when to stop.
He doesn't
is
know when to
his-
shut the fuck up. And
exactly.
But she's a sociopath. Like, there were so many times
For
that she
sure.
would say something and then she would like smirk, and you're like, "Holy
Yeah.
shit!" Like, she
Oh,
said
she's
something
Definitely
horrible.
a sociopath. And I didn't you feel like her husband, like he seemed kind of likable. Like he's fine.
No, I
he
thought
seems
so.
normal.
I thought this is what I told Gentleman Caller
Mm-hmm.
is if milk toast
Mm-hmm.
and like diluted soda
yes,
had a baby.
exactly. But I
Like,
guess that's what I mean.
is
That's what he's
the
not offensive. He's just
Most
boring and
boring
fine.
human. Like, he just
Yeah.
sits there, and then he randomly sang that song, which was just.
Oh my god, that was so weird. I forgot about that. See, there's so much going
I will
on
never leave you
in this
in the
documentary that
springtime.
I
And
can't.
I'm just like, holy.
Oh my god. Yeah, he.
Oh, so Joe Exotic is also a country music star,
Oh yes.
and he
yes.
randomly They randomly play clips of his music videos,
And I'm gonna
and
say
his
this.
voice is not bad.
His voice is not bad, and his songs are just as good as any other country song.
They're very entertaining. And
I'm
at
putting
first,
that
I
out
thought,
there.
because I'd read some conspiracies online, that he was dubbed, but he sings at a funeral. Like, how can you dub yourself at a funeral?
Yeah, no, I think it's him singing. He doesn't write the songs. I did read that somebody else writes them for him, even though the songs are just bananas, and so are the videos.
Yeah, there's one video where he has Carol Baskin's.
And they found
feeding
a
the
good
tigers.
actress to
She
look
looks
like.
just
oh
like
my
her.
God, they found this lookalike.
We were like, did he
actress.
pay her enough money to show up? So this chick, his mortal enemy, this is the setup of basically episode 1.
Yes.
His mortal enemy happens to have somehow inherited by her late husband's unfortunate, mysterious demise, multi-million dollar, like millions and millions of dollars.
She's loaded. Yeah.
She's loaded, and she's just decided to fight him with it, essentially.
Yeah. Well, she decided that she thinks she's the good animal rights activist and she thinks he's the terrible animal abuser. And so she's made it her crusade to shut down anybody who's not her, basically, but people that are breeding tigers and doing things that are, yes, objectively bad. So she's fighting that. But Joe becomes the nemesis because
because he's
he
so
fights
bombastic. Like, he fights
yes.
back.
He
the other
bites
people
back.
don't fight back. They're just like,
No.
yeah, she's a bitch. We don't care. Whatever.
Yeah. It's like he pays so much attention to her that then they can be in this feud because they're both using social media to do this, and he's got his own little like TV show, his YouTube TV show thing that
I would watch that.
Oh, totally. I bet they're all on YouTube.
Oh, good.
But yeah, he'll make up songs about her. He will, like, he made a fake, like a dummy of her and shot at it with he made a blow up doll and called it her, and just crazy bananas. Like, don't say that in public. You're gonna, but she has so much money that she can keep suing him and taking him to court, and he can't fight back because he doesn't have any money.
Yes.
Apparently raising tigers, yeah, she just has kind of this endless wealth. His
money,
I
don't think it's just because he was raising tigers. I think he's just not good with money.
Well, yeah, he's bad with money, but think about what it would cost to feed that many tigers, because he just has.
So they go into it.
Them.
I don't even remember which episode. They go into it that he gets all of the expired meat from Walmart. Mm-hmm. He gets which is brilliant. That's super smart. He gets roadkill. Like just any meat he can get his hands on, he gets it.
Yeah. I mean,
and I've read things online that people would give him like their animals, like their horses locally or whatever, and he would
if they had to euthanize it anyway, or
right.
I mean, that's smart. It's totally fine.
Smart.
You find out later that he's also using the expired meat in his little pizza shack where he is making pizzas. Or that's what his employees think. They're pretty sure he's using the expired meat. And that was another thing that comes up, is that his employees,
I remember that part.
Yeah, when he has his
employees actually seem like they genuinely care, and they're very nice people. And none of them are painted in a bad light. Like, everybody is just
like all the people
they're all respected.
Who work for all of them. Like, Carol is totally the sociopath, which you don't find.
None of her employees were interviewed. Zero.
None of her employees were interviewed. But all of Joe's and all of Doc Antle. Okay, well, so Doc Antle's just running a cult. But yeah, all of Joe's employees, there are a lot of ex-cons and.
Oh, so he literally, like the guy who's the main zookeeper. Mm-hmm. Who is cool. He looks like...
Yeah. Oh, I liked him.
He looks like he belongs in like an Airheads movie or something. Like he has... Or he's one of the guys from Wayne's World. Like one of the studio guys. Like he has the long flowing hair and the leather sleeveless jacket. Like,
you can barely see his face. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like... He's just rugged and cool. Mm-hmm. And, he's playing with tigers and he's feeding bears and whatever. Mm-hmm. So this guy... said that he literally answered a Craigslist ad. And he's like, want a job? And he's like, yeah. Like, he was basically like fresh out of prison or whatever. And he was looking for a job. And this is a Craigslist ad for a zookeeper. Now he's the head zookeeper. He was like, sure. Now I'm playing with tigers, whatever.
But he seems like
a great guy.
Yeah, it seems like the people there stick around too. It's not like he's got like, once they get there, they stay. I mean, is that
and
the
all
impression
of them,
you got?
Even at the end, they were all very upset by things that happened, the way things played out.
Yeah,
like everybody was and he was unrecognizable. He looked so bad.
Oh yeah,
he was messed up.
Totally feel bad for him by the end of it, but
yeah, I don't know if he has like Parkinson's or he was just that fucked up. But he was like shaking.
Well, so you find out in the probably the first episode that he has got a husband, and his husband's name,
not the zookeeper.
No, not the zookeeper. Different
Joe
husband.
Exotic.
Who is his? What was his first husband's name? Now I can't remember. I thought it was also Joe. Or
John.
No, John. That could. I have no idea.
John. It's the guy. It's the guy with all the tattoos.
The meth mouth. Yeah.
Meth mouth.
Meth mouth John. So he actually seemed like a decent guy too. Like these seem like nice people. I don't think they're out to hurt any
they
animals.
were together for 16 years.
Yes, and he's still young. Like here's the thing about Joe.
He said at one point that he's 52 or he was 52
Yeah.
and he filmed that. He's aging spectacularly.
Yeah, really well. we find out later that not only does he have the one husband who's now his ex-husband, but he had two more husbands.
So
And they got married in a
happens,
three-way wedding.
what happens is he's married to John, who's, you know, the young guy with the tattoos everywhere. And then he sees this hot young thing in the park with his skateboard and stuff. And he came over from California. He's like 19 years old. And he was like,
I need
you
that.
want to open up our marriage to that? Mm-hmm. And he's like,
No. It wasn't even that.
Sure.
Was it? Oh, yeah, it was them.
Yeah.
I was thinking the third guy was the triple marriage.
He
Okay,
asked
go ahead.
me if we should open up our marriage. And then the other guy, Travis,
Yeah.
isn't even gay. Or he told him, I'm not gay.
Yeah.
And he told him, he was like, well, you watch porn, you like the big dicks, you're probably a little, like, more gay than you think.
You might be a little bit
Which is
gay.
probably, like, the thing is bi exist.
Yeah.
So everybody's a little bit gay. So he's like, yeah, all right. And then he stays. And he keeps him.
Joe's totally supporting him and buying him shit.
He's
and
drugs
this kid is just a
and
total
alcohol,
stoner.
Free
And
place to live.
yeah, he's a typical look up California stoner in a dictionary, and that's him. And so for him, it's a
And
fairly
so they
good deal. I mean,
three-way
sleep with Joe
marriage,
Exotic
and
once in a while, and
I
get a
want
free
that
gun
blanket with the three of them on a pillow and the white tiger or something. That's
it was so great.
they held it up at their throuple wedding, and
Yeah.
I told Gentleman Caller, I'm like, I want that, and he was like a blanket like that or that exact one. I'm like, that one. I
That
want
exact
that
one. Yes.
That one.
See,
Because the
that's
picture
how Joe
is
needs
just
to start making more money for his defense, is just sell those blankets.
the
Like,
best picture ever.
and like what I love is Joe, you know, he talks about his background and about how basically his parents kicked him out when they found out that he was gay, but he is not hiding that shit, and he doesn't give a fuck who knows about it. And this is in Oklahoma, like, and he's having this wedding. They're all wearing
Oklahoma,
pink shirts with like it's
Texas makes fun of Oklahoma for being backwards.
that's how. But Joe is just
Wow.
like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gay. He keeps saying he's gay as a $3 bill. That's his favorite saying. So yeah, he's not hiding
Like,
it.
I don't give a fuck. I'm gay. What? I'm
Yeah,
broke as
what do you
shit.
want?
What?
You just, I
was
feel
in
like
his-
you have to admire that about a person when they just don't give a fuck what anybody thinks about them. Like he's
So
in
he's
it to pet
delightful.
tigers and have
Every single time he was on the screen,
young
I was
boyfriends.
just mesmerized by. So he has a mullet that's blonde on top, bleached blonde on top, and it's dark underneath in the undercut. And it's like, it's a full-on mullet. It's like long in the back, and he has earrings, like big wide gauge or thick gauge earrings all the way in both his ears.
up and
and
down
then he
the
has
ears.
It's not an eyebrow ring because that's too specific. It's like an eyelid ring.
Oh, that one grossed me out. I can't.
I
deal
don't
with
even
that.
know, but it's like hanging over
Yeah.
his left eye,
Yeah.
and he is just so
And
interesting.
he's got that choker necklace that he always wears. There's always some kind of choker he's wearing.
Something in his open collar, and
Yeah, cowboy boots. Like
he talks about having a Prince Albert at one point. I'm like, oh god,
Yeah.
please don't
Oh,
show it.
please.
Please don't show it. Please don't show it.
he is who he is, and he is proud of it.
Yeah, he's a spectacular person, and I
don't
wish,
get me wrong,
I wish I had gone up there and visited the zoo at some point.
He does really shitty things. Like, I'm not
He is
excusing.
not a good human, but he is a
No.
spectacular person. Does that make
He's-
sense?
Kinda like so that's who Joe
he's
is.
a
Maybe
cult
we
leader.
should.
Like,
Yeah, well, not as bad as Doc Antle. Let's talk about Doc Antle. This motherfucker
this
is
motherfucker.
running a zoo over in, I think, North Carolina. Is that where
Yes.
he is?
Yes, I think it's like somewhere on
Something
the
like
beach or
one of those
something in North
Carolinas.
Carolina. Yeah.
Who knows? They're all the same. So
I think
he's
in
got
prison
all of these.
now, actually.
God, I hope so. He's got all of these young women working for him. And
Mm-hmm.
they're the ones that when you go to his zoo, they're showing you the animals. They've got the headsets on, and they're like, here's what happens with tigers. Tigers go.
And, yeah,
They're all
you find
scantily
out
clad, all
That
super
he picks
hot.
out their clothes. He
Yep.
gets them boob jobs, and he changes their names legally. Changes
Yes.
their names.
And they're all his wives, and he's got like 5 of them. And they interview one gal who used to be in his little cult and isn't anymore.
And she looks
so,
just like one of my friends. It was kind of
Does she?
unnerving.
Are you sure it wasn't her? Maybe you should check in with her. I don't know.
No, she lives in Texas, and this was in Iowa.
But yeah, she's like, here's what he'll do. He'll find like a 18, 19-year-old girl who's interested in, basically wants to hang out with some tigers.
Well, why wouldn't you? I love tigers.
Yeah. He starts grooming them just like any predator would groom a person.
He puts them in shitty living conditions. She says it's basically horse stalls that are just infested with roaches.
Yep.
And it's not told to you outright, but it's implied to you, your situation will improve if you sleep with him.
Mm-hmm.
And
they tell each other that kind of, yeah.
Yeah, so he starts picking favorites, and the reason there is favorites is because they sleep with him.
Mm-hmm.
And she never said that she did outright or not, but she got her name legally changed. She got her breast implants. She did well, and she stayed there for 5 years. So it's kind of
like that's what's, and he will admit he's got 5 wives. Like he's not hiding that fact.
I didn't understand that the tiger world was so polygamous heavy.
Right?
And
I don't
so
even
here's
think
the
it's
thing,
polygamous. I feel like it's people who just think they can do whatever they want.
Maybe.
And
it's not even like
religious
because
beliefs
it's not
or
an
anything.
ethical polygamy thing either.
Yeah, no, it's not ethical. It's not religious. It's just, hey, I want to fuck 5 different women and call them my wives. I'm gonna do
Joe
that.
Exotic is ethical about it. He's like, can we open our marriage to that? And he's like, yeah. Like he even said he asked me first, and this is after he's his ex-husband. So
I think he's very manipulative to them, but
for sure.
Yeah.
But he did ask first, which is
right. That's polite, at least.
Right. Mm-hmm. So
we got Doc Antle.
Doc
running
Antle,
that
asshole,
his fucking
and he
cult.
has, what is that called? The little flap of hair right on your chin.
Oh, soul patch.
Soul patch.
He's a white guy
but
with
it's
a
little
soul
long,
patch.
so it's like flapping when
and
he
a
talks.
ponytail. He's balding, but he's got the ponytail. I believe he is also a sociopath.
Very cool.
Yeah, he thinks he's the shit. He rides an elephant into the park.
I don't know if he's a sociopath, but he is a narcissist for sure.
Maybe he's definitely a narcissist. They show him riding this elephant, and they're like, and welcome Doc Antle, and there's this group, and then he's just coming in on a fucking elephant,
and all his
like,
women,
look at me,
are
look
like
at me.
China and Sasha, but their names are actually like Judy
God.
and Beth, but they legally changed their names to China and
honestly,
whatever.
This guy has nothing to do with the story. He's just an he's like a side plot of some kind. He's not even in the main story.
Wives.
Yeah.
This guy with 5 wives and a whole concubine full of young women with, legally changed names. He's not even the most interesting person on the show.
He's not the most interesting. He's not what's focused on, and he's not part of the main feud. Like, it's just, here's another dude who has a tiger ranch. And
the tiger community is just... Oh, yeah, so here's my question. So polygamy is, by definition, multiple wives.
Right, yeah.
They called Joe Exotic a polygamist, but he's actually a polyandrist.
But he's married to 2 people at the same time, isn't
right?
that...
But that's if it's more than one husband, it's polyandry.
What? Why?
But no one knows that, I guess. So no one says that.
I'm confused. I thought polygamy was just more than one spouse.
Wait, what is more than one husband? There's a word.
There's bigamy. So bigamy is when you're married twice, but they don't know about each other. So like you have a wife over here and a wife over there. You're committing bigamy.
Yeah, it's polyandry. It's more than one husband.
Okay.
Oh, it's when a woman takes more than one husband. So why does it change to polygamy?
So yeah, I don't know if there is a word for just an all dude throuple, like a wedding, a marriage with just 3 dudes.
The word is the state of marriage. Polygamy is a state of marriage to many spouses.
Yeah.
But when a woman is married to more than one husband, it's called polyandry.
So they have a whole nother word for it.
Well, yeah, because that's what I was like, okay, if we're going to practice Mormonism in true form.
We're going to do it right.
We're going to do this right. We're going to do polygamy on the back end and polyandry in the front. I don't know.
So yeah, you've got Doc Antle chilling in North Carolina.
And he's not even interesting. Like he's
not
just
that
like
interesting. They go back to him every once in a while, and he'll be like, "Carol, yeah, she's fucking crazy."
He's like,
Joe,
"Yeah, I'll
he's
chime in on
too.
this.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Yeah,
I'll chime in."
He's there for the color commentary. But so you've got Joe and you've got Carol. Carol's in Florida, so these 2 are feuding. And when you meet Carol in Florida, so these 2 are feuding. And when you meet Carol, got a flower headband, like made out of real flowers, like a hippie.
She
and
is so
just this
crazy.
long flowing shirt. And
And the documentary
she's
filmer,
so weird.
he says this is the only time that there's any kind of opinion or
Mm-hmm.
color commentary in
Mm-hmm.
the whole show, actually.
Mm-hmm.
When he said, and this isn't even very, very bad, but he said, she's dressed perfectly.
So yeah,
Which she was. Like,
she's got her
for
own
who
style
she
going
is,
on. Yeah. She has got her
she's
own style.
perfection.
Yeah. And she
And
like
I was talking to Gentleman Caller. I have never met anyone who wears one of those headbands like that who
yeah, me
wasn't
neither.
crazy.
Oh yeah, no. Or I even get like maybe for a special occasion you're going
For
to
a
like
special, for a wedding
or a fish
or
concert or a Bernie
something.
Sanders rally, like I get it.
Sure.
But this is her everyday wear. And then you find out that she's
She
constantly
rides a bike
yeah,
everywhere
she
around
rides
her
a bike
park.
with her hair flowing in the and you know she loves how she's looking because she knows that her hair is behind her and she looks really cool. But you find out that she goes to Congress all the time trying to pass this bill that will stop tiger breeding, and when she goes, she has
She head
fully
to toe
head to toe
animal
and
print.
animal print ever. Like you look in her closet, all animal prints. She has animal print like little fake ear.
Well,
Like
she says that if she wears all animal print, then people will know she's serious.
yes, they won't forget about her and her bill, and they'll know that she means business, and she's gonna keep showing
I've
up
also
in her
never
animal
known
prints.
anyone who wore that much animal print that wasn't crazy. So
It's an excessive amount of like you know that her underwear are animal print. Like everything she's got on is animal print, even if you don't see it. So yeah.
right.
Interesting side note, my brother, after watching this and getting bored one day, dug into her political donations, campaign contributions. And
Interesting.
she
Who'd she donate
personally,
to?
so not like the type Big Cat Rescue, but her personally, and Howard or whatever, whoever her husband is, the guy who's totally inconsequential.
He looks like a Howard.
The two of them donated $2,500 to Mitt Romney, $2,500 to whatever the Republican congressman is in their state. Like he pulled up a bunch of it's all Republican donations
Oh, it doesn't
from Carol and
surprise me at
Howard.
all.
Totally, because they're just not good people. So,
Yeah.
but
I mean,
see,
and that's out of a show with zero good people. She's
Yeah. Oh,
not.
there's
She's
nobody.
the least good people.
okay, so the one person that I think might genuinely be a good person in this show is Saf. And
Oh,
that's
love
the person.
Saf
There's
so much.
some controversy going on because Saf is transgender, and I'd have to go back. I honestly can't remember, but on the title card thing where they show what their name is when they're talking, Saf is in parentheses or not parentheses. It's in quotation marks, like you would with a nickname, you know. And then
Like a nickname, like Joe Big Dog Johnson.
yeah, or something. Doc, Aunt, whatever I forgot his
Yeah,
name already that
exactly.
we were talking about 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So
he's
because
basically a
nobody
Howard.
gives a fuck, yeah.
Exactly.
But Saf, his last name is Safri, and so that's I'm sure where the Saf, and
Well,
that's
and
what
everybody,
he goes
the
by,
entire
and everybody
show, everybody calls him Saf.
everybody calls him Saf. But I think
And
they
everybody
may,
is super respectful,
oh yeah,
like
no,
and kind. Like everybody genuinely likes each other,
oh yeah, and
except for that.
Saf-
Yeah, well, that's a different. That's later episode.
yeah. So I think when they put the name on the title, it may be his birth name.
Well, it was recorded 5 years ago.
But yeah, it was recorded 5 years, and we don't know yet. Like I don't think Saf has come out and said this specifically.
No, all he
that-
said was I prefer he him pronouns,
right.
and I prefer to go by Saf. But no one.
But
I
did
don't,
they
as
know
far
that
as I know,
when
there is
they
nothing else that has been discussed or
Right.
talked about. And I honestly, I watched, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember him ever even being gendered. Like,
No.
they were just interviewing him the same as everybody else. And it wasn't like no one was singling anyone out. Like,
Right.
here's this, person, or here's this person. No one was gendered. It's just,
I just think
they
I
were
think the
sitting down in a
assumption
chair
was
and everybody
the
was just
first
telling their
name.
story.
Yeah, I think the first
And-
name was still on there, and it was a like a
But
female first name.
is it a dead name though, or is it a name that's just like I prefer to go by this? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, is it the legal name that they... I
Well,
guess
'cause
what I'm wondering
some
is...
people very hard line dead name
Yeah.
and legally change and everything like that's gone.
Yeah.
And some people it doesn't matter as much. Like it
Yeah.
just
Well, and I don't know...
it's a personal opinion. I don't know personally. I don't know, so I don't know.
Right. I don't know if the producer sat down with Saf at one point and said, what name should we
Right.
use? Or if they made assumptions about what, because that was their name. Like, and Saf hasn't come out and said they
One
were
way or the
using
other.
this name inappropriately. And I'm, so we just, like, we don't know. I have no
Right,
idea if
and,
it was
you know,
intentional
obviously-
to use that name or not. But it's
But
clear
they
that they
showed-
go by
so-
Saf through the whole show.
But this
And there's
guy,
a whole nother thing about Saf that we haven't even mentioned yet that's more
right.
interesting
Well, that's
than
like
this.
in the preview of the show, you see him lose his arm, like in the preview to
Yeah.
the show.
Yeah,
and
so-
that's not even the most interesting part.
No, Saf, right early on in the series, Saf gets an arm bitten off by a tiger. Just straight up,
You know,
tiger
as you
bites
do
off the arm,
on the
whatever.
Day on the job,
Totally.
back to work in 4 days.
Yeah,
Because
because
freaking badass.
hold on a second. Sorry, had to cough loudly. So basically, went to work, had an arm bitten off. While this is happening, Joe runs to get his EMS bomber jacket, because he's got like this, it looks like an EMS jacket, and he makes sure to go put that on while he's trying to give some first aid to Saf. If you didn't notice that, go back and watch it. It's hilarious.
I did. I was like, why is he wearing
Yeah.
a medic
Why?
jacket?
Yeah.
And you know, my partner was like, because it's an emergency, Amy. I'm like, okay.
You can't just look like an average Joe when you're giving someone first aid. You need to make it clear that you are serious and you
He's
are
like,
giving this
this
person
is a
first
medical
aid.
emergency.
Yes.
What else is he supposed to wear? His leather vest? I'm like, oh, excuse me.
So yeah, so they
My
take
bad.
Saf to the hospital, and where the doctor gives Saf a choice. We
Yeah.
can reattach this arm, but it's going to take years and years of corrective surgeries. There's going to be a lot of rehab.
4 years of like multiple surgeries. There's no
Yeah.
guarantee of regaining.
Right.
Like,
You're
any
going to be
kind
going
of
through a lot
stuff.
of rehab, or we can just amputate it here and now and be done with
And
it.
he was like, take it.
Yeah. Didn't even think about it. Just take it off. I don't need it. I
I
don't need
would
that
too.
shit. And then
Like,
went back
what
to
did-
work
what
3
did he
days
do?
later.
Like,
yeah.
15 surgeries, 4
Mm-hmm.
years, whatever, and then you know what, 20%, you know, no,
I mean-
whatever.
I feel like I would have taken the put my arm back on option and then maybe down the road regretted it and changed my mind, but
The amount of pain
who knows?
and suffering from repairs and trying, because nerve damage hurts like a mother. Like
That's true.
there is no way I would want them to reattach it, because I've had minimal nerve damage just from like leg bone surgeries. I can't even imagine.
Well, and you've got the other guy who works there who's also some sort of like manager. He's got 2 prosthetic
He's okay.
legs.
He's the zoo manager.
He's the
and
Zoom.
he's-
Yeah.
He has 2
I kind of liked him too. I thought he was okay.
robo, like they're like cool mechanical, like
Yeah, they're
like,
mechanical prosthetic
they're mechanical
legs.
legs, and they look like they're tattooed everywhere, and they are just really
Yeah.
cool looking legs.
And he's not
And
hiding
he's like,
them
everybody
with
thinks
pants.
they were taken off by a tiger, but they weren't. It was like a skydiving accident.
Yeah, and he's not like trying to like. It's clear when you look at these are not like real
These
legs.
are rough people. These
And
are
it's fine.
really
like
rough people.
again, he doesn't give a fuck. No one's gonna
No,
say
no,
anything
none
about
of-
it. And so when
Well, no,
Saf-
but you just look at this cast of characters, and you
Yeah.
assume someone there is holding drugs right now.
yeah,
You can probably buy some, and they all know how to kill a man with their bare
they've
hands.
all seen some
like
shit.
easily,
They have all seen some shit.
and
part
they're
of
all like, they're fantastic. I want to join
know.
this crew. Like, they're
part
so
of
fun.
Part of Saf deciding just to have that arm amputated was that he works with this other guy who has the 2 prosthetic legs, and he gets
That's
around
exactly
just
what he
fine.
said. Is
and
I
was
work
like,
I
"Look,
work with a guy with
he can
no
do it,
with
yeah.
no legs. What the fuck am I complaining about my arm?
Yeah, like it's totally fine.
Yeah.
He is just you just like him right away when he starts talking, and
I like him, and I like the head zookeeper with the hair.
Yes.
That belongs on like a Wayne's World poster.
I like him, and I also like the guy with no legs because I just liked him. I didn't the whole time. I kept
I liked
waiting
him,
to hate
but what
him
was
for some
the
reason.
weird
but-
documentary guy that was being interviewed the whole time? He was
God,
just weird.
he was right at the beginning. Such a strange, like, he
No
when-
idea who this guy. He's like narrating the whole thing, and he's kind of like when if they told us later that Death was narrating the whole show,
Yeah,
I would believe it.
yeah. He's the first thing you see when you turn it on. He's lighting up a
Yeah.
cigarette, and he's like, "Let's start at the beginning of the story." And he's clearly,
And you're just
clearly
like,
in a bar.
who is this guy? They never really go into detail about
Well,
who he
I think what
is.
happens is he was an actual television producer for
Yes.
like reality shows, and he
Yeah,
somehow
and he was
went to
filming
work
Joe
for
Exotic's
Yeah,
reality
he was
show.
trying to make a reality show with Joe Exotic, which I'm sorry would have been $1 million.
I would have watched the
had
shit out of that show.
that show come out. That
I
dude would be rich.
absolutely would have watched the shit out of that show. And
Right.
that's why that guy is bitter as fuck,
Oh yeah,
because all of his film, nothing was backed up, which is dumb.
yeah. That was
All
ridiculous.
of his computers, all of his film, everything was in the crocodile
The crocodile fire.
that was burned down, with may or may not have had Michael Jackson's crocodiles in it.
So he loses his whole
So he
reality
lost
show. he
his
was gonna
entire
do.
livelihood. Like, he
Yeah.
lost everything.
Yeah, he
And when he went to Joe Exotic about it, he's like, dude, that's everything. And Joe's like, I don't give a fuck. And so he basically like packed up. He's like, I grabbed my dog, I grabbed my shit, and I left, and I drove away. And it's
got
like,
my pack of cigarettes and my
damn.
hat, and I was
like,
he
that
was
sucks.
he was also producing Joe's like internet show too at the same time, because he
Yeah.
told Joe, "I'll do this for you, but you need to let me film this reality show." And Joe's
Constantly.
like, "Sure, I don't give a fuck." Like, and
Yeah, because
got
he was
this-
filming the YouTube show, but he realized that this guy was so insane all the time that he had a camera crew behind the camera crew
right,
filming everything.
and that's
brilliant.
it was magic. I really
I
wish
would watch
that
the
show
shit out
had
of
come
that
out.
So there's no, we can't even go into everything that happens. This
No,
is just,
we really can't. Like, what's
you
okay?
got
So basically, you get this new guy who he's an investor, and he's gonna bail Joe out because Joe's in some deep financial shit because it costs a lot to feed tigers and have like 4
Jeff-
husbands and
Jeff Lowry or Lowe.
Jeff Lowry. So he comes in. He's a rich dude,
He is a dick.
skeezy rich dude.
And he brings in his own employee and said he's now employed at the zoo, and this guy is an asshole.
Oh my
and
God.
he just starts fighting with everybody.
Yeah, and he's straight out of prison. Like
Like,
not-
literally has teardrop tattoos.
The other
and,
people
like,
are
this
straight out of
guy
prison,
is a
as in
snake.
like Joe's employees are more straight out of prison. Like they just maybe smoked too much
Down
weed,
on
or
their luck.
maybe there was some
they just
assault going
had
on.
made
This
some-
other
had
dude,
meth lab
he
blow up. Or
had to have killed somebody. Like he's scary
Yep.
as fuck.
this guy is not a cool person.
No, you don't want to tangle with this guy. So the new investor hires the new guy. He and Joe hate each other. They get all kinds of tangled up.
And Joe's always yelling at him, and he's like, I don't work for you. I don't fucking
Yeah.
work for you. And he's just like,
Yeah. So new guy,
Please?
new investor guy, they find out he has been taking baby tiger cubs to like hotels in Las Vegas. He'll put
in
them
Vegas,
in a suitcase.
in suitcases.
Put them in a suitcase, bring them up to a suite in a hotel room, and then charge people a fuck
and
ton
have
of
like
money
private parties.
to have a cuddle
which is
party with the
actually
tigers.
Brilliant.
I mean, it truly is, though. But that's how he makes a lot of his money. So he was already in the tiger game
And he's an
before he
asshole
invested.
to his wife.
Oh,
asshole.
He's a total dick to his wife. His wife is probably way
12.
younger than he is.
She looks
He openly admits he just loves sleeping with tons and tons of women, which is
Well, okay,
fine.
so
Do
the
what you're
last
gonna do.
episode, she's super pregnant. Mm-hmm. And he's like, we're going to induce her next week. And then the next week after that, she's going back to the gym.
Yeah.
Like, he says
I
that.
wanted to reach through the screen and punch him. And she
I
does that
almost
kind of like
threw up.
laugh. Like,
But then she looks at him, and you can tell she hates him.
yes.
And
he's
then he jokes
awful.
about getting a nanny, and he's showing pictures of all these hot nannies, and he was like, might as well have something to look at. Are you kidding me?
Oh, he's such
And she's
a
trying to
dick.
look at it in a positive way, saying, well, some of them are multilingual, which will be good for the baby. And he's just like, whatever.
Shit about that.
I'm going to try to fuck the nanny. Like,
He is objectively one of the worst people in this show.
he is, so everybody's awful, but he is,
extra.
like, he is the most disgusting human that's, like, portrayed.
He's the slimiest, I feel like,
Ugh.
because he's the one that gets
So
in
this
there.
guy is straight up guilty of everything.
Oh yeah, he's done
That's
all
my
the
stance.
things.
Like, I
Yeah,
think
he should
so.
be in
Joe,
jail.
we know Joe's in jail, but I think Joe was put in jail to get Jeff. Like, they're going to leave him in jail
That's
and
what
push
I've
on him a
heard.
little bit.
I've heard that
And
theory.
I really think that he's going to, the FBI and everybody's trying to get Jeff because this guy, he's in some serious shit. He's made a lot of people mad, and he's a con man, so he's conned
Right.
a lot of people out of a lot of things because he basically cons Joe out of his zoo.
Yeah, totally cons Joe out of the zoo.
So
And,
because Joe's an idiot, so he's just like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna put this in your name,
All
so
right.
Carol can't hurt me. And it's like, dude,
Well,
you
yeah,
just
'cause
gave me your zoo
at some point, Carol wins a judgment against Joe for $1 million.
for $1 million.
So she's trying to collect
He's
that
never
money.
getting them. Which
Another
is, I
thing
don't
that-
understand why
yeah.
you have millions and millions of dollars. Stop.
Because it's not about the money. It's about protecting the tigers. And that's why she has to collect the $1 million from him. So yeah, so Joe's trying to hide all of his assets. So he signs the zoo over to fucking con man McGee and
Yeah, he's
loses
the
his
worst.
zoo. So scary guy who's running the zoo, teardrop guy who's probably killed somebody.
Yeah,
It gets alleged
and
that
no one likes him. Like
No.
no one likes this guy.
No, he's awful. Supposedly Joe hired him to go kill Carol Baskin and paid him
Which is,
$5,000
what he's in
to do
prison
it.
for.
That's what he's in jail for.
But he only paid him $3,000, which the guy was mad about.
Yeah, he only paid him $3,000. And it's
He's like, he was
questionable
supposed
whether
to pay
this.
me $5,000.
It's questionable whether it actually happened, and yet they're talking to every one of his employees, and they're like, "Oh fuck yeah, Joe's talked about killing her all the time."
Yeah, but
he
he's
said it every
talked about
day.
killing her for years.
Yeah, and
Why suddenly did he do it?
Yeah, they're like, it's not something. He talks shit constantly, but he's
Constantly.
not gonna
But
drive
he's not a
down
man
there
of
and-
action. He's a man
I don't
of
think he's an actual
words.
murderer. Like, he's just a
No.
shithead. But
He's a shitty shitbag, but he's a lazy shitbag. He's not going to
Yes.
drive to Florida to kill Carol
well, you've got your
or
con
give
man.
someone money to do it.
You've got con man who stole a zoo, and then he finds another partner who's another tiger dude who's also an asshole, and those two go into a partnership together, trying to build like a hotel with a zoo next
Oh,
to
that
it.
guy hates him.
And he
hates
just
him.
they split, and it's really dirty, and there's just we didn't even mention
There's a lot that happens.
second husband Travis.
Skater dude from California.
What happens to skater dude from California, Travis,
Terrible.
is awful. So they've also got campaign advisor Jim. I don't know. I can't remember any of these people's names, but Joe ran for president in 2016 and he hired a campaign advisor, and the campaign
And
advisor
then when that didn't work, he ran for governor of Oklahoma.
the campaign advisor is like this young dude, young Republican
Libertarian
looking. Oh yeah,
guy.
he's a libertarian. And he was working at Starbucks or something, and Joe's like, "You want to manage a
He
campaign?"
worked at the
And
gun counter in Walmart.
that's what it was. Yes. And he's like,
Yes.
"Yeah, I want to run a campaign. Fuck yeah, I do." And then he's like, "And it was the worst experience of my entire life." But
And then they go into why. Like,
Yeah.
that's shitty.
there's a point at which he is sitting talking to Travis, dude bro Travis, with his pot, and you see there's actually a security camera watching
Above
it.
Travis's head. Like, Travis is under the security camera.
Yeah, you can't see Travis, but you can see the other guy reacting to Travis and talking to him and sitting in a chair at the desk. And all of a sudden, there's just this flash that goes off. And the other guy sitting in the chair is just, you can tell he's just he can't move. He's like frozen. It turns out
his expression is just heartbreaking.
it's awful. Travis accidentally shot himself in the head. Like, I think that's what it could have been suicide, but I think the point you're supposed to get is that it was accidental, because he would fuck around with these guns all the time and
All the time.
point them at people, and the guy would have to remind him, don't point those at people's heads. It's gonna fucking go off one day. And
And he's like, it's not loaded.
he's like, it's so
fine."
yeah, he did it like, it's not loaded, see? And shot himself in the head and died. Just
So the person I feel the worst for in this entire show is
Mm-hmm.
Travis's mom.
oh yeah. Yeah. That
She
poor woman
comes out for the
just-
funeral and she is just a wreck. And this guy, the Tiger King, is
Mm-hmm.
singing at the funeral, of course, because he's a country singer.
Yeah.
And it's fine. His song is great and fine. But then he gives a eulogy and he starts talking about her son's balls.
Oh my God, it was
And
so
they're like
cringy.
little golden nuggets, and
Yeah.
he'll just rub them on his face all the time. I'm like, holy
to make
fuck,
him
are
smile.
you kidding me?
And that everybody
make
who's
him
worked there has
smile.
seen his balls. And you know he did that because you saw his balls. If you worked here, you saw his balls. And oh my.
Yeah, like he starts talking about his balls, and everybody's just like, ha ha ha, and his mom is in the front row.
Yeah.
And then,
it's so bad.
and then, so
Well, and then 2 months later. he
two
gets a
months
new-
later, so yeah, he goes
new
out on this
hubby.
date with this guy named Dylan, I think. He's
Something like
another young dude.
Yep,
And
19-year-old.
then 2 months later, they're married, and he invites her to the wedding.
Yeah.
And she thinks it's like a big ceremony, but it's literally just her and the new couple and like one other person, like the
Yeah.
justice of the peace or something. And it's took all the social media pictures just to show that she endorses it, so he won't feel so bad.
Yeah, so that nobody will give him shit
Like
about
he's
it.
real shitty.
He's quite awful.
Like
and
he was
uses
all
social media
excited about
to-
going out on his date, and he shows this tiny little tiger cub, and he was like, he was born 2 days after Travis died. I'm like, that is a tiny baby.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
he goes out on this date, and he was like, yeah, he came over for dinner, and he never left. I'm like, ew,
He
are
was
you
on a date
kidding
like
me? Your
2
husband just
weeks later. Yeah, it was disgusting.
like, who knows how long it was actually before they went
Yeah.
on the date, because they were married in 2
Right.
months. So when was the date?
Exactly. I mean, you got to get back in the game right away. I feel like though, if you wait too long, you're gonna have rusty skills. So if you're gonna be marrying 19-year-olds,
Prince Albert gets rusted. Like, what
constantly,
happens? I don't understand.
you need to go find the 19-year-olds before they turn 20. So you really can't blame him, is what I'm saying.
Birthdays are coming around every single month.
But so yeah, at some point Joe burns his whole fucking media thing down for, I don't know, attention and the insurance money. I probably didn't even have insurance on it. He just does it so he can say,
He does it
Carol did
because
this.
he's mad.
Yeah, he's mad.
He did it because he was mad, and he was afraid that someone was going to take something out on him, and Carol was going to come after him.
And they were going to find all of his
And-
computer files, and he was already being investigated. So
So it was like
just
he
burned
has
it all
impulse
down.
control issues.
He really
clearly.
does.
And
But yeah,
he's
but
basically a third grade boy. He's like, yeah,
he really is.
fire,
He's just
guns,
all.
explosions,
If you gave
tigers.
a toddler some tigers and guns and gave him
And
a
a
mullet,
mullet?
it's this guy. He's just fascinating. I can't. But yeah, so they bring up Carol's husband and just like
Oh, yeah.
her ex, no, well, not ex, her deceased husband.
No, her first husband.
her first
Oh, no,
husband's
second
entire
husband.
family.
Second husband.
Oh yeah, she was
her
married
second
before
husband.
that. And oh my god.
So she met this guy. Here's
totally
the
fucking
thing.
forgot
They go
about
into
that.
this. She's like 20 years old.
Yeah.
And she's walking down the street, and she's, long blonde hair, and apparently
Mm-hmm.
she was pretty. I don't see it.
Yeah.
But so she's walking down the street crying, and this guy pulls over, this older guy, like 32 years older than her,
Mm-hmm.
pulls over, and he's like, hey, baby, get in the car. Or you're sad. Let me make you better. Whatever. So she gets in the car, and
Which is the smart move, ladies. If this
well,
happens
he
to
says
you on
there's
the
a
street,
gun on the
get
seat
into
next
the
to
car.
him. This is her version of the
Yes.
story. There's a gun on the seat next to him, and he said, if you don't feel safe, you can point this gun at me. Just get in the car. I need to talk. Also,
Yeah.
you clearly need to talk. I need to talk also. So she gets in the car, and they have this long conversation. And she stays the night with him, which she's run away from her husband, which apparently he was abusive, but she was okay leaving her daughter with her husband. So I don't know how abusive. I don't know.
Well, and didn't
So-
she hold the gun on him the whole drive?
Yeah, she said she held
Yeah.
the gun on him. She laughed about it. I held the gun on him the whole drive. And then we went, and then I spent the night with him. Okay, did you hold the gun on him all night? Like, did she not sleep? I don't know.
have no
But
idea.
you comes to find out, this guy was married with like a couple daughters, and he left his family for this blonde chick he picked up on the side of the road.
Yeah. And then years
And then
later,
she kills him.
he fucking totally kills him. I mean,
Because what do you expect when you pick up
a
someone
sociopath on the side of the road. And yeah,
who's crying because her ex-husband has abused her? But honestly, like, okay, I am someone who takes the victim side always.
yes, that's
But if you are in a situation where someone is crying, trying to convince you that things are so bad and they need you to take pity on them, I kind of wonder what they want from me
yeah.
in that particular moment.
Yeah, if it's a total stranger.
This
what-
is a total stranger on the
Yeah.
side of the road, and they're willing to get in my car and pull the gun on me. Like, I would question all kinds of things. But that's also her story. He's not around to tell it because she's
Yeah.
killed him.
But ex-wife and his grown daughters are like, oh, she definitely killed him. Like,
Everybody.
she killed him and kept his money. And the big thing is, did
Her,
she feed
yeah.
him to the tigers or not?
So she even said later on the show that the way you could get a tiger to eat a person is to cover them in something they like sardine oil.
Yeah. And
Like,
then,
she straight up said that.
yeah, nobody has been able to prove. So her story about why her husband disappeared, because he just disappeared. So
here's the thing. There was also she may not have done it. So there's also an attorney that knows way more than he's saying. Mm-hmm. Because he's like, the truth will come out.
Yeah.
Whatever. Mm-hmm. Someone needs to subpoena that attorney.
Yeah.
And then they're talking about, he has this friend that he told everything to, and his friend said, he came to me, the last thing he ever said was, if I pull this off, it's going to be the best thing ever, or the most amazing thing ever. So what if this guy actually just got away? Like, he was a multi-millionaire. He has the money. He could have just stashed money forever and then just taken off.
But why, though?
Because we met his wife and his daughters. Yeah. I mean, come on.
I suppose. I don't know. I think it's more likely
they seem like horrible people. They're mad. So they got money from him, obviously. They are well off. They're good. But they're complaining that she took the good assets and left them with the trash assets. They still have assets.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, she took all the good stuff and we get all the bad stuff. I'm like, you still get stuff. It's like, here's these good dishes, you get the day dishes. It's
but her story to everyone is that he was acting really weird in the weeks leading up to it, and like maybe he had some dementia. She could be telling the
truth. So he could have a head injury.
That's true.
And he could have and they even said he traveled to Costa Rica all the time and he loved Costa Rica. Maybe he just fucked off to Costa Rica.
Yeah, but nobody else
confirms her. Would you want to be married to her?
It's just her saying it. Like, nobody else says, yes, we noticed a change in his...
No, but his friend said that he loved Costa Rica. His friend said that he said that if I pull this off, it's going to be spectacular. His attorney said she didn't kill him and that guy knows way more. He thinks someone killed him on a boat, though.
Yeah, His
attorney thinks someone killed him on a boat.
I think she killed him. I don't think she fed him to the tigers. I think that's too obvious.
I'm not entirely sure she did it. I think she's just...
Well, she wrote a very long blog post about it that you can go check out because I read part of it last night. And
very much benefiting. So maybe she did. I don't know.
Who knows?
I mean, I would divorce her.
I mean, there's no
But I am just divorce happy. Like, I would divorce anyone at this point. I'm like, okay, cool, bye.
Obviously, yeah. So basically, Joe ends up in jail. Nobody else is in jail, even though they're all worse human beings, although we think Doc Antle is now in jail. But, yeah, possibly. Every episode ends with, like, what the fuck? And then you go into the next episode, and another what the fuck thing happens by the end of that episode. And it's just... It's basically madness.
It's a shit show that's worth watching, because even if you just do it from an intellectual perspective, it is a very well made, very fascinating documentary.
Well, Nathan Dickey he's going to record something. I told him I really want to be on it. He's going to talk about Tiger King and its social, like how it's brought so many people together and why that is, and talk about
because we are all quarantined.
Yes.
Although, so we've started doing, not me. When I say we, I don't mean me. Doing like favor runs in the middle of the day because we're working from home. We're stuck in the house.
Yeah.
After my partner does his 2 20-minute training sessions that he has to do to stay active in his job.
Yeah.
Then he's taking favors, so he's getting paid for his regular job and paid to run favors. So, and it's drop outside the porch. Like, you don't even have any contact with people. You just send them a text from your car saying, your food's outside.
What do you mean favors? I don't even know what
favor, do you have DoorDash?
Oh, yeah. So it's like
So that. Favor is one that, like, he's at the grocery store right now, actually, for someone else. So favor is basically anywhere you have someone in an area say, can you run to the grocery store and grab me, these 4 things and a bottle of wine and... here's my address, and you prepay in the favor system, and then he has a favor credit card that he goes and pays with, and then
That's awesome. How much do you get to keep of that money? Or is it just like a
So
surcharge?
it's only like $2.10 per run. From the company itself, and then there's tips, and the minimum tip is $5, like the recommended tip that's automatically applied, unless someone goes into the system and like shittily lowers it to 3 or something.
Okay.
But it's automatically 5, so you're automatically getting like $7.10 per delivery.
Okay.
But most
not
people,
bad.
you get a selection of, 5, and then it's 15, 20, or 25% tip, and most people select 20. So he did 3 when I was working today, and he had one order that was like 60 something dollars, and they picked 20%.
Nice.
So that was like 12 something, and then his $2, and then he got another like $6 tip because she went in the system and added another dollar to the recommended 5, and then he has another one coming in. So he made like $23 for like an hour and a half of work.
Not bad.
So it's actually
Yeah.
a decent side gig,
Need
and
to
then
look into that.
it just goes into our account automatically, which is nice.
I've thought about my son when he finally gets his driver's license. He can't now because we're all quarantined. But I think that would be a
Us
good
too.
job for him, just because he wouldn't even have
It's
to really
fantastic.
interact with anybody.
Nope.
He does. It's all on his time. He doesn't
Like you have to
maintain
call
a
in
schedule.
orders to restaurants.
Yeah.
If they're ordering from a restaurant.
Even then, though, like at DoorDash, you just
then
do
you
it all
have
in the app.
Well, yeah, but you have
Oh,
to
but
call
that
in.
person has to call the restaurant.
Right, the person, the
Okay.
DoorDasher,
I see.
DoorDashee. And you have to call it in, and we're gonna probably just after, because I only work until 3, so we figured we would just pick up like nighttime ones, and I would get in the car and we just hang out,
Yeah.
just go driving around.
Don't touch anything.
Like when I'm recording right now, he was like, "I'm gonna get on for another hour and just go
Yeah.
run." I'm like, "Okay, cool."
Yeah. Don't touch things. Get some gloves. Don't cough on anybody.
Ugh, that's the worst.
Anyway, so
yeah, I live in an
that's-
area where I know so many people that have it. I know so many people.
Joe Exotic would make the
Oh, yeah,
best
sorry.
DoorDash. Like, I would like
But
to see
he'd
Joe
never
Exotic.
leave your house. He would be like flipping
That's
his mullet.
why he'd be awesome. He could deliver pizzas, show up to your house, and just hang and be like, "Can I have a slice of that pizza?" And then he just comes in and you party with
Yeah,
Joe
so
Exotic.
he'd be like the guy that came to the door, but it was like his date. He came to the door and he never left.
Yeah.
Like,
But how
and he's
fun
like, "You
would
wanna-
that be? It would.
you want to see a tiger? I'm like, I don't want to see anything you
If you're
have.
having a party, he's the guy you want there. No one's gonna forget that party. It's gonna be amazing.
No, I don't want him at my house at my party. I want to go to the party he hosts.
Okay, well that makes sense.
I want to be able to leave.
I've heard the theory that they're trying to keep him in jail so they can lean on him, but honestly,
I think so.
I think he would have. Why would he be not saying things if he had information? He doesn't give a fuck
He
about
did.
these people.
You saw that. The second he was in jail, he had his husband emptying out his storage unit of all his computers and files.
Well, yeah, but I mean, do you think they're trying to get more information from him
I
about
think they
the other
want Jeff.
people?
Yeah, I think they want Jeff. So you
But
saw
that's what I'm
Jeff's
saying,
face.
like-
Like that guy is smug, and
yeah.
he is so sure. He's like, "Why am I not in prison?"
But,
It's like,
like,
dude, that's
he-
what everybody's questioning.
He would have
Why are you
given
not in
them
prison?
absolutely everything he knows about Jeff already, and you'd think
So
they
he
would
might
know
not
that.
know anything,
so.
but he's guilty of 19 counts.
Yeah, true.
So-
don't try to kill people. It's not good. We'll find out.
Well,
I don't
it's-
think
okay,
he even
so-
did it. Yeah.
There wasn't enough. If they had just gone after him for the murder for hire plot,
Mm-hmm.
there wasn't enough evidence to actually convict him.
Mm-hmm.
So what they did was they took a murder for hire plot,
Mm-hmm.
suspicion of whatever, and then they piled on 19 counts of animal cruelty charges.
Yeah.
They just piled them on him, which it was like, breeding, because it's illegal, like breeding tigers.
Well,
it's not
he
illegal,
had
actually, but
euthanized some of them
he's
inappropriately.
euthanized animals, and
Yep.
he's had to put animals. Yeah, he's had done all these things.
Because when you're breeding that many fucking baby tigers, you got to
It
get rid of
happens.
some of the old ones.
So they have they just piled 19 charges on top of this guy. So even if they don't have enough evidence to convict him of a murder for hire, there's no way you're beating 19 charges.
yeah.
So
he's got
he was
his-
found guilty. What you do is you just blanket,
Yeah.
guilty on all counts, because you're not going to be like guilty of the first 3, but not the bottom 16. Like, that's dumb.
Well, he's got his new 19-year-old husband who is
I think
calling
he's
him
like
in
22
prison and-
now.
Now. I feel bad when they're talking to each other because Joe's just so sad.
Well,
and
and
he's
that
not
guy,
going to
so
make
his
it in
husband,
prison.
seems to genuinely at least like him.
Seems at least like a really good dude.
He seems like a sweet kid.
He does.
Like, he's...
Like, what the fuck are you doing with Joe Exotic? But I really like him, and...
I get it.
And Joe changed his legal last name to
his last name.
To his... Not
no,
just...
To every
husband's last name. It's like a hyphenated thing, so...
Which is just
interesting,
eccentric as fuck, and that fits him.
I love it. I just
like it's.
I want him to be my uncle. Names. That's what I'm saying. So
the one you only see like twice a year.
Yes.
Cool.
Oh yeah. You can't have him hanging around all the time. But he would.
I don't want him to know where I live. But I will go to his house for Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So do you have any final thoughts on the Tiger King? Because it's been over an hour and I'm hungry. So. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it.
Nachos while we were recording like me.
No, I didn't.
So it was really... So I had this expectation going into it of what it would be based on the memes and the discussion. And it surpassed the expectation. I very much enjoyed every minute I watched that. I did.
Yeah, I literally knew nothing about it going in. I hadn't seen the memes or anything. I didn't even know. I was just great. Like, oh, okay, I'm supposed to go watch this thing. And I went and found it, started watching it. And then I recognized Joe Exotic from the other stuff I'd seen him in. But yeah, every minute that you're watching it, you can't turn away. And like, I would go back and rewatch this 100%. I thought about it the other day, but there's so many other shows to watch. So there's one
guy, the guy that goes into business with Jeff, and they're interviewing him, and he has a monkey on him all the time. Yeah. He looks like a character Woody Harrelson would play in a movie.
Oh my God, so much. Yeah.
And every time I saw him, I was like, he doesn't look like Woody Harrelson, but he looks like a Woody Harrelson, like Woody Harrelson could portray him in this Joe Exotic saga.
Well, that's the whole thing. None of this is actually about tigers. It's just this cast of characters that...
Although this guy... really takes the king title seriously. He has a throne.
He makes him.
He sits on it all the time.
Why haven't we done that yet? Like, I saw that and I went, why have I not made my own throne yet? I feel like that's a project we need to get matching thrones, to go with our crowns. Anyway, yeah.
I do wear crowns.
So yeah, if you haven't watched it, go fucking watch it. Just do it. It's totally...
And then you can come up with your own opinion on whether there was
whether it's totally inappropriate or everything was bad or it's not. Just watch it. See what,
because I enjoyed it.
Yeah. If you're worried about watching it because you think you're going to see a lot of tiger abuse, that's really not the case. The worst thing you're going to see
tigers aren't really in it.
Yeah, tigers are just swiping people. They don't give a shit. They're like trying to hit people and taking arms off, and they're fine. They're holding their own. Except for when the one is having the babies, and then you see them trying to get and even then, it's horrible that they're taking this baby away, but you can tell they're trying to be super gentle and get it out through the fence.
Yes, they're trying to get the
he cares
tiger.
About the baby tiger.
But you can hear, so the Tiger King in that moment, Joe Exotic, you can hear him saying, oh, she's having a baby. She's pooping one out right now. She's pooping one out right now. Go around to her ass. Go around to your ass. Cut a hole in the thing so you can get a picture of her ass. Yeah, he wants everything needs to be on film. Yeah, everything needs to be documented.
Everything get taped like all day long. He just has everything taped constantly, and he's very
megalomaniac.
Yeah, let's put it that way. So that was our review of Tiger King. Tell us what you think. Somehow, I don't know. Email us, social media, something like that. Whatever. If you're listening to Secular Soup right now, go listen to I Date Me. And if you're listening to I Date Me right now, go listen to Secular Soup, because we do both of those and we're releasing this on both feeds. So
we are.
It's our gift to you.
In the time of the Rona.
It's our gift to you because you're all home quarantined, bored as fuck, just like we are. So get your Netflix
find that song. I posted on my Facebook, but not everybody is my Facebook friend. Hello from the Other Side by Adele. Yes. It's a cover of this guy, Hello from the Inside.
So good.
And he's like licking the window and he's like waving at the neighbors as they're like in their houses.
I'll find a way to post it in the show notes. Did you watch the Les Mis one too?
No, I haven't seen that one yet.
Go look on my feed.
It's just so great because he's like, hello from the inside. And that guy's voice is
Oh
spectacular.
yeah, and the lyrics are just so good.
Oh,
Anyway.
yeah. Why even bother buying pants? Like,
Yeah.
I get it.
Oh, I haven't worn pants.
And
well,
none of us have showered recently. I can't even
No.
remember when I showered.
my
'Cause why?
hair is so dirty, but I keep thinking, how many more days? Like, it's a
I'm not
challenge
even
at this
I'm not
point.
even dry shampooing at
Oh,
this
me
point
neither.
because why?
I haven't washed my hair in at
I'm
least
pulling
5
it back
days.
in the
I just don't
most disgusting messy buns I've ever.
So
and
am
then
I.
this morning, I start work at 5. I put on like, I don't know, like a bralette thing. It's basically
No, I
like
don't even
a
do
tank
that.
top that's a little tight, but sort of. And I eventually put on a bra at like 7.
Oh, I don't wear one at all. What I do is I wear
Well, I have to.
I wear long t-shirts for pajamas. So I'll wear that to bed, and then when I get up, I'll just leave that on and get like a pair of yoga pants and put those on with it. And then
Nice.
either wear my bathrobe on top of that to stay warm, or find like a sweatshirt or a sweater to put on top of it so that the kids don't think I've totally lost it. And that's just what
Exactly.
I've been doing for like 2 weeks straight now. So
Yeah.
I just don't care about
This
my
is
hair
my
goes
third
back
week
into
home,
a grungy, disgusting
and-
bun, and no makeup. I'm saving a fuck ton of money on makeup, so
Exactly.
No
well,
bra.
I bought lipstick. So I'm wearing quarantine lipstick because I'm trying different colors, and only the strongest will survive. So
yeah, well, it's a good time to try it. All right, thank
as
you everyone
well.
for listening. Time to go eat some tacos.
Thank you.
We will see
Have
you
fun.
on whichever show you're listening to the next time we have an episode. Bye.
Bye.